So welcome to my new YouTube channel. On this channel, at least at first, we're gonna try and focus on making scripture, the Bible, Genesis texts in general, falsifiable or compatible with the scientific method. Historically, they have been very separate, right? They have not been compatible. This is the secularism movement that separated state and church, right? Everybody knows this. So I thought it'd be useful to make a premise video, share some necessary context before we start the biblical series, going through the Bible, reading it more like system dynamics, more in line with, let's say, Spinoza's God. If you don't know what that is, doesn't matter. There's a very simple reason for why I am pursuing this project. At the core, it's a personal one, but there are several other reasons. For example, there are several studies that indicate that religious people have better all-cause mortality, or like less, that is. Yeah. And there are other studies that indicate that there is immense health benefits to being religious. And I was like, that's interesting, right? Okay, so what? Should I become religious just for the health benefits, right? But I mean, I cannot switch overnight. And so this brings us a little bit to my background, I guess. I'm not a man of faith, primarily because the clashing of falsification and scripture, right? Well, nobody can argue that falsification hasn't yielded us immense power, right? I mean, if you look at Einstein's theory of relativity, it has allowed us to send up GPSs that orbit the Earth and create applications like GPS and whatnot. These are immense powers, right? And because of this reason, I cannot accept this. Scripture in its current form isn't compatible because it has this, for example, miracles and things that doesn't align with modern observation, basically. My values have always been oriented towards science because it has, again, yielded us so much power. But that doesn't necessarily refrain me from going with an open mind to scripture, especially when you have these studies that indicate these health benefits, right, for religious people. I mean, if the Bible isn't divine, in general, how come, for example, it has been surviving for so long? I mean, it has repeatedly been garnering attention throughout generations to generations. There must be a really good reason for why it has been amplified, if not divinity, right? And so I want to look at that. Like, why is that? Because my personal belief is that nothing exists in reality if it doesn't serve a purpose, some sort of purpose. And so the whole idea is to sick the falsifying dogs on scripture and see where they are compatible, basically, to see if they have more in common than you might otherwise think. And so if you're interested in this, if you haven't read the Bible, for example, this could be a really nice introduction that is aligned with, someone that values the scientific method. And so if you feel this is interesting to see the big divide in our society, which is secularism that defines scripture versus science, These are the two big teams of our society. And if you want to see them come together and see where they might be, then hit the subscribe button and follow along this adventure to see if they are compatible in some way or maybe not. And every Sunday I'm gonna be uploading a new episode of this biblical series. We're gonna first off start with the main axioms from the lens of a systemic reading, and we'll go from there. Yeah, if you're interested, come along. Every Sunday, we'll see how it goes. I hope to see you there.